You're listening to episode 22 of This Makes Me Happy. If you're in the Philadelphia area, please join me at the Philadelphia Podcast Festival. I will be a tattooed mom on South Street, recording live on Sunday, August 21st at 4 p.m. Visit phillypodfest.com for a full schedule and other details. You're listening to This Makes Me Happy, a podcast about people and what makes them happy. I'm your host, Bernardo Margulis. I'm a designer, art director, and educator, and I'm the principal of This Makes Me Happy, a design studio where I help my clients with branding and visual communications. Every week, I'll bring you a new installment of This Makes Me Happy, the podcast, where we'll chat with a new guest to explore what makes them happy. Hello, welcome to another episode of This Makes Me Happy. Today I'm very happy to have Fabiana Ferrarini. She is a certified fitness instructor. She's an international fitness model and a mother of two from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And in January 2016, Fabiana became the first Latina woman to appear on the cover of Oxygen magazine. Hi, Fabiana. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and I'm very happy to talk with you. Also, the introduction I did, is there anything else you want the audience to know about you?
No, I think that's it. That's who I am.
And we'll learn a little more as we talk with you.
Of course.
Let's get to the main question, Fabiana. What makes you happy?
What makes me happy besides fitness? My family, my children, and my husband. I have a very strong support system. And doing what I do can get very overwhelming at times. It's good to have that balance where I'm able to disconnect and I'm able to count on my family to fill me with love and with hugs. And God makes me happy. He fills me every day. And this is a very scary world where, you're pulled in so many directions if you don't have your feet well grounded. So I know I can always go back to the word and fill myself and be happy.
So I have a quote from you that you said so you were on the cover of Oxygen magazine. That was after a challenge. And the quote says, "My mental strength was tested throughout the challenge and there was no way I was going to give in." It sounds like your family and all this that makes you happy keeps you going and helps you go through those mental challenges. Is that accurate?
Yes. Going through the challenge was a 90-day challenge, which of course was during the summertime, which, that's the time where you're going out, you're traveling and you're eating, everyone's cooking out. And it wasn't just a challenge for me, a physical challenge, it was a mental challenge because there were times that I was put in positions where, it could have gone either way. I could have fell off my routine or just kind of let go of my goals and kind of indulge, or, I had to be straightforward. And, those were the decisions and the choices that I had to make. So it was a mental thing. And, of course, as a mother, we have our everyday struggles, trying to take care of your kids and your home and your family and cooking and cleaning and all those fun things. And then you have your exercise and your workouts, and, you have to really talk to yourself and, tell yourself, you can't do everything all at once. Pick and choose was really, really important, but it's very important that you make time for yourself. So for me, I looked at it as more like building myself instead of from the outside in, but more from the inside out. So my looks were just my looks, but I wanted to be stronger mentally. It really helped out in that sense.
And did it help you having your husband and your kids by your side since they made you happy? Is that something that helps you go through those tough mental moments?
Yeah, they do, because kids have absolutely no worries. Mom and dad are the heroes. Mom and dad always have all the solutions. So what makes me happy, it's my family. So I know whenever I'm going through any situation, I can always disconnect. And I have that one private thing, my family, which they bring the best out of me,
Do you think that being a Latina woman, family has a certain resonance with you because of that, of your cultural background?
I think so. I mean, I think us Latinos are raised very, very close-knit. growing up, you're told like your sister, the one you fight with every day, she's going to be your best friend. And you're like, no, she's not, like we're always fighting. And your brother right here, he's going to be your best friend. And these are the things that are like built as you grow up, and at those times, I don't think we really pay attention to it. But as we grow up, we're just so close. So being a Latina and having such a like close knit family, I mean, my sister literally lives like 5 minutes from my house. I can run to her house. She lives like 3 houses down my mom's. And then my brother lives like in between us all. So we're all just like really close. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's other cultures that are just as close. But I think there's something about Latinos where we feel like, we have a gathering and everybody has to come. Like if your brother doesn't come, like, it's family. Why didn't you come? This was important. You should have been there. So I would say so,
It's funny because I grew up in Latin America, but my family's European, but we were in Latin America now. I mean, being Jewish, family is important, and then being Hispanic, family is important. So that's absolutely, left and right,
Right. It's so true. I mean, there's a family gathering for anything and everything. It's funny because I'll tell my husband, oh, let's just grill outside. He's like, yeah, call your mom. And I'll call my mom, and it's like, my brother calls me, and it's like, mommy told me you're having a cookout. You're having a barbecue. And I'm like, I'm not. It's just, I'm just grilling like a few pieces of chicken. But if you guys want to come, and it's like, my brother comes, my sister comes, her husband comes, and I'm like, holy cows, like, mommy, it was just supposed to be like, a little grill thing at a party, but you know what? I feel like in these days, like, it's so important to have that family, because they really do make you happy. You reminisce about, all those great like childhood memories, and you reminisce about life when you were, growing up, and all the little bad things you used to do with mom and dad weren't around, so it's always good to just like be able to just shut the social media off or shut away from the world and kind of like live those moments with your family.
Was it always the case for you? Was your family always nearby your entire life?
Yeah. They were, like I mentioned, we're all like extremely close. And when I started my fitness journey, as Latinos, we live in carb world. We eat carbs like every day: breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, snack before, after dinner. So when I started my fitness journey, I mean, everybody was just like, "Are you serious? You're not having like rice and frijoles today? You're passing on mom's tortillas?" And I was just like, "Yeah." So at first, they didn't understand. I would be like very like casual about it and just tell them like, listen, I just want to be healthy. I want to take care of myself. And, it started kind of like settling in everybody. And once I started doing the challenge, I mean, my biggest supporters and my biggest fans were my family, and they still continue to be that. And, they really helped me to be where I am today.
Well, you mentioned in your website that your children, or being a mom and how physically taxing it can be, that's what inspired you to become more fit. So your family inspired you to get in your journey in some way?
Yeah, so my kids are very active, and I had them at a very young age. I mean, not that I'm crazy old, but I had them pretty young, and I was never healthy. Like, I was never like a healthy eater, but neither was I like a really big girl, I just didn't take care of myself. I didn't eat properly, and it wasn't about being skinny, because that was never like my goal. Like, I've always been pretty curvy, and I liked myself the way I am and I was, but I just wanted to be able to be fit and keep up with them, like I didn't want to be sick and then, have someone else care after my children. And, after I had my youngest, I was really depressed. I was home with the kids, and, they inspired me. You know what I'm saying? To like get out of my house and find something that made me happy.
So what does it mean to you being able to keep up with your kids and be able to spend more time with them and share all those activities with them?
Oh man, it's so much fun. I mean, I feel like our children are in school for most of the day. Obviously, healthy eating is not something that I guess is at school, because their lunches are like not that healthy. So for me to be where I am and be able to share that with my children, it means so much because they are the future. Eventually I'm going to get old and I'm not going to be as ripped and I won't have the abs I have anymore, but I'm going to be able to count on my children to be able to pass what I've taught them, So it's like I try to make it fun, we cook together and I try to keep them very conscious. Like, hey, listen, you just had 2 cookies and now you want to add ice cream. Like, you want to pick one of the 2 because, you want to be a soccer player. You want to be able to be healthy, So I'm like that cool, strong mom, So it's like I get to just like make it very fun, but education, and as well, I'm able to keep them entertained and keep them active and also be able to run after them when they're playing sports.
Are they very active?
Yeah, they are. So I have a 9-year-old and he plays soccer, and then I have a 4-year-old. Yeah, so they're pretty active.
And are they also as family minded as you are?
Yeah, so my sister and my brother, they all have children. My sister has 2 little girls and my brother has 1 kid, and they're both actually expecting. My brother's expecting his 2nd and my sister's expecting her 3rd. But we're all like, I'm the only one with the boys. So although, they're girls, we always make it a point that, hey, listen, this is your cousin, but she's like your sister. You're going to take care of her. And sometimes they're like bump heads and we'll do like the old school tricks. Like, all right, you guys got to hug each other for 5 minutes. I don't know if your parents used to do that to you guys, but they fight and then we just like make them hug it out for like minutes. And although they're like really mad at each other and they're like kind of like pushing away, towards the end they'll be like, I'm sorry, Josiah. Oh, I'm sorry, Sophia. So, we always try to like let them know, like, you guys are the only ones you will forever be able to count on, so it's important, like, you guys stay really close. We are a team,
And is your husband's family also nearby?
Yeah, they are. So he also has like a really big family, and so his mom is Italian and his dad is Jamaican, but for the most part, like his mom and his sister and his brother, they're all like really close by, so they're all about family as well. So we're all just like so loved, and just, and gatherings are pretty big, and it's really exciting, to be with the family. It's real love, and it feels really good.
It's into so many, well, I'm not that familiar with Jamaican culture, but Italian culture and Hispanic culture, families are it. You just stick with them so that you're combining all the different cultures that support family and you have like a mega family.
Yeah. It's crazy, because you know how the holidays are. I mean, It's like Christmas, I want to be with my mom. And then he's like, no, I want to be with my mom. So it's like, we're going from here. From 6 to 9, we're here. From 9 to 10, we're here. Then we go back for dessert. Then we come back to open gifts because we just don't want to miss any family time. It's like we got to get as much as we can and just like fill each other up with like all this family time. So it's great. It's exhausting, but it's great.
Do you ever take vacations apart or are you always together?
Family wise, we've taken vacations together. We've taken like about 2, and it's pretty fun, it's good to, and it's good, why? Because we can go out, me and my husband can like sneak out, and we have like good babysitters so that our children are safe and then we'll take it care of. But aside from that, it's great to be able to travel with our family and expose them to, different things that they weren't able to see, or just living those moments together. It's always like amazing.
And how's it when it's just you, your husband, and the kids? Is there a different dynamic, a different family dynamic?
No, not really. I mean, we're pretty young, so we still like run around with the kids and we play tag, and we take them to the park, and we usually do like one family trip, just my husband and the kids and myself, and then like one big family trip sometimes, and then just us two. But it's about the same thing, our children are getting pretty old, so they're like very independent, and it makes it more fun, because I don't have to like lug around a diaper bag and bottles and he crying. So it's pretty interesting, and now they're developing like their own little personality. So we have a ball. I mean, we really enjoy quality family time.
Did you always know, or do you ever aspire to having a family? Was that something important for you growing up?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, my dad was always like really, really, really big about, being a really tight family. And he himself is very close to his siblings, and he was, a very great son to his dad and his mom. And so was my mom. So, having two people that were just all about family, this is what we were raised, like there was no time we would have dinner without my dad, so my dad knew that he had to be home at 6 o'clock, to have dinner with us. We would have even breakfast in the morning, we would have breakfast together. So we grew up with this like really tight, like big family dynamic. And it was just like, it's something like you have to like program it to your kids, because not everybody's like that anymore. So you have to like sort of like brainwash them. So
So for your kids, is that not the norm with their friends and people around you?
oh my God. So I'm like really like overprotective, and I don't let my kids like go out and like stay around their friend's house for too long. Like I just literally started like letting my 9-year-old, but for the most part, any family activity, family excursion, like we actually have one planned this weekend, and it's like my brother, my sister, and the kids. We're always together, and sometimes I feel bad because I have the boys, and the girls, it's like 3 against 2, and they want to bring like all their Barbies, and my kids are like, but they're so boring. I mean, all they do is like play Barbies, but they're already used to it, like for the most part. I try to take them around to my mom's and my sister, so they can hang out, and they're like pretty close. They go to school. The 2 youngest ones, like my sister and our 2 youngest ones are like 6 months apart. So they go to kindergarten together. And then my brother's daughter and my son go to school together. So it's really, we've really like brainwashed them, like, hey, this is your little sister, you guys are like siblings. You guys have to take care of each other. You guys have to look out for each other. And that's just the way it is. I mean, sometimes when we, go a few days without going over there, the kids will be like, Mom, like, I miss Sophia, and I miss Emma, and I miss Haley, So it's just like really, really, really important.
That's beautiful. My cousins are either too old or too young for my brother and I to be like that. But my sister and our cousins are only 2 years apart, and it's the same dynamic when they were growing up. It's something special.
It is. It's like, I mean, you do have brothers and sisters, but being able to have like more cousins around the age is, I don't know, it's just a blessing, like, it's really important. Yeah.
You have your sister and your brother. Is there an extended family? Also cousins, aunts, uncles?
Well, my mom's, family, most of them are in Honduras. And a few of them live here in Jersey, and we're all like that. Actually, probably at the beginning, towards the end of May, we just had like a really big like family. It was my little cousin Sweet 15, so it was like literally like the whole family, and we feel like kids, like, oh my God, let's take a cousin picture. So it's really exciting. So I mean, we don't see them as often just because they're like 2-3 hours away. But for the most part, whenever we have like birthday parties or any cookouts or any sort of like events like that, we always make it a priority to shoot out there and get together. And I also have, my dad has older kids from his previous marriage. So I have two sisters and a brother. And the youngest from that group, she has two daughters. And unfortunately, they live in Washington. They live in Washington State. But they're coming down this summer. So it's really cool, you know. We're all taking a big sister and brother picture.
So even if you're not as close as your kids are to their cousins, you still stay together. You still make it a point to be family.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she always sends us like pictures of the girls, and we'll tell the kids, you know, hey, these two are your cousins as well. You know, like we may not see them all the time because they live so far away, but you know, they're still your cousins, and you know, your little sisters, and they're gonna come down and we're gonna hang out. And
now you've always been your family bet. You went to college in Penn State. That was far from your family. How was that experience?
Well, I went to Penn State Abington, which is a commuter campus, because I was a young mom, you know, and I had Enrique my son the summer after I graduated high school, but it was still tough, you know. But then again, I had my mom and my dad who were just like extremely supportive, and they watched Enrique for me the whole time while I was in school for 4.5 years. And it was, you know, as a young mom being in college, I'm a bio major, so I had a lot of like work to do, but it just took a lot of weight off my shoulder knowing that my baby was home safe, you know, and I didn't have to worry about childcare, or I didn't have to worry about, you know, being home because I have to go pick them up. So my mom and my dad have really, really been like a big part of, you know, who I am and where I am now.
So you've always made a point to stay nearby your family your entire life.
Oh my God, I couldn't imagine being far away. My husband and I always talk about moving to Florida, you know, like beachy palms and palm trees, and then like when we were like really close to doing it, I'm like, I don't know, but like I'm gonna love the weather, but my sister and my mom and my brother are not gonna be there with me. Like I don't think I want to go. I'm like, and then I'm gonna complain that I'm lonely, you know, like here I complain that I'm cold and it's so depressing. And I'm like, over there, I'm going to complain that I'm lonely. So I'm like, I think we should stay here. And it's like the older we get and the more you realize how important that root is, you know, like everybody branches out and has, it's like a tree, you know, everybody branches out and has like their own families. But when we get together, it like goes back to those roots, you know, it's like we become one. So I couldn't see myself being away from them.
Why do you think it's so important to keep that root, as you mentioned?
Well, you know, it keeps the tradition alive. We just continue to support each other and love each other, and I don't think there's any more genuine love and true desire to see you win than the one that you get from your mom and your dad. You know, it's like the purest love. And sometimes I can like sit on my mom's lap like I was a baby and just be like, Mom, I need you to hug me today. And it's just like so good. I'm like 28 years old and she still does it, you know? So it's really, really important. I just couldn't see myself without them. You know, I mean, my sister lives not so far from me, and I go over my minutes on my phone bill because I talk to her like and it's like one of those conversations like, hey, so what are you doing? Nothing. So what are you going to do today? Nothing. Did you talk to Mom? Yeah, I just did. You know, so it's like, it's nothing like crazy important. It's just like, she's my best friend. You know, my brother's my best friend. And I just love them, you know, and like, just that love.
Do your kids have an ultimatum that they're not allowed to go farther than a certain, when they go to college or when they go away? They have to stay within a certain distance?
I don't know. That's that one bridge. Like I see, but I haven't, like, I'm afraid to cross. I just couldn't see myself, as much as, you know, my kids are great and I love them. But of course they're like a pain in the butt, you know, because everything it's like, mom. So sometimes it gets overwhelming, but I couldn't see myself with them being so far away, and I know it's gonna happen, and it would just like break my heart, but it's I guess it's like sacrifices that you take as parents. You let them go. It's like you let them go, but then they come back. So I know he's gonna come back to me.
Plus, being Hispanic and being so family oriented, there's no way he's gonna go too far.
Oh, he better not.
My cousins live in New York, and they have two daughters, and they told them they're not allowed to go to school more than 2 hours away.
Oh my God.
Now, the older one, they live just outside of New York. The oldest one went in Manhattan. The other one went to Boston, and that was like crazy far.
Right.
But she went back to New York, and now the older one is here in Philly. So,
Well, that's not. Well, that's a really good. That's something I gotta keep in mind. 'Cause my son loves soccer, and he's like a big soccer fan of Real Madrid and all that stuff. And he's like, oh, I think I want to go to college in Florida, or I think I want to go like to Spain. I'm just like, boy, calm down. You're not playing here, okay? You're gonna stay right here. I'm gonna give you hugs and kisses.
maybe a summer abroad.
Right. Maybe I'll let you go for a few weeks, but you have to come back. The fears of a mother.
What's it like? You mentioned that you sometimes take a vacation just with your husband, right?
Yeah.
Is that a time to recharge, or how does that feel being away from family for a little bit?
I get homesick. Like towards the end, I'll start getting homesick, and I'll just be like, oh my God, like I'm just so ready to go home. But it's definitely a time to just like completely disconnect, and that's something like I always like look forward to when we go away. Like phones are like completely out of service, So it's like nowadays it's like you're so bound to just like click social media, Facebook, Instagram for no reason, just because you're just so programmed. So when we go away, it's like literally like I just want to like sleep. I want to enjoy, the time with me and my husband alone without the kids, and I just want to eat good, and it's definitely a time to like do some self-reflection and come back. But I do miss my family, and most of the time before we take a trip, we always like ask them like, hey, we're getting ready to go here. We love for you guys to join us, but we only have one babysitter, which is my mom. So she can't handle all those kids. So sometimes I'm like, I don't know, babe, like if we invite Daniela, which is my sister, we invite Daniela, that means she's going to ask mommy to stay with the kids. She might not take care of ours, so I think we might just like have to skip them this time. But for the most part, when we do like trips, we've done a trip with my sister and my brother and all of us together, and it's pretty dope. But I do miss them. I get homesick really fast. Yeah.
And what do you do when you get homesick? You just...
Oh man, I just get really sad. Like I just like come back home. Like 2 years ago, I think we went to Italy, and it was 10 days. And once we like hit our last destination, it was like Venice. I was just so ready to go home. It was like one of those things, like when is the nighttime coming so I can go to sleep and it'll be a new day and we can be closer to going home. I was just so ready to go home. But, we FaceTime the kids, and, we try to call as much as we can, but we definitely just like make it a point, like, all right, we got to hurry up before the kids go to bed, and like FaceTime them.
So the way maybe this technology, before you said you'd like to disconnect, but sometimes it actually helps you stay in touch when you're traveling, when you're...
Yeah, so we won't like add any service to our phone, because then it's like everybody starts calling you and all your business emails come in and you feel like obligated to like respond. But we'll get like Wi-Fi and like, call the kids, and then it's like, okay, shut it off, hurry up before like all the business calls start coming. Yeah.
And do you have any vision for the future for your kids, for their families, or their connection to your family?
Yeah, like I just hope and pray, and I'm gonna do the best I can, and as well as my husband, to keep them really close, because we've obviously, went through that stage where we depart from our siblings and make what we think are our friends, and they don't end up being our friends, and then we come back. So it's like, I know eventually they're going to have to learn on their own, but we always want to like make it a point, like, you guys will forever be, siblings, although you guys are cousins, you love each other and you're always there for each other. So that's one of my plans. And of course, for them to be healthy, to be conscious of how they eat and to be active. And it's just so important. I feel like our children are our future, and, we need to start by educating them if we want to see changes farther ahead, because they'll carry it through.
Well, it sounds like you're making it such a strong point that they will probably have no option but to just stay there and know what their family is and why.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely, something we work on daily, and they get the point, they're learning.
And now we can only wish that they, in the future, keep their learnings and then pass them on.
Of course, they better. All that hard work.
Oh, I'm so happy hearing about how family makes you happy. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on family, because I agree that's very important.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now it's time for the rapid fire question. Fabiana, I'm going to ask you some questions about different things that make you happy, and I just want your gut reaction. Ready?
Okay.
Fabiana, who makes you happy?
My family does.
What is the first happy moment you can remember?
Oh man, I guess having my children, my son, my firstborn.
Who is the happiest person you can think of?
My sister.
Do you have a happy food?
Oh my God, yes, it's French fries.
I thought you were going to say something very Hispanic or.
Huh?
I thought you were going to say like rice and beans or.
Oh my God, no, it's French fries. I'm like, I would break any diet. I would break anything when I see French fries. It's that. But I have the unhealthy food.
And I saw, this is supposed to be rapid fire, but I'll interject. I saw your video on Good Morning America, how you were saying, you're showing, not Good Morning Philadelphia, and you're showing your abs, and you're like, I had a cheesesteak last night. Like,
I did.
So you can have French fries, you can have cheesesteak, and you can still be fit.
A little bit.
Do you have a happy color?
Yes, it's purple.
And what is the happiest word you can think of?
Amazing.
Fabiana, thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything you want to share with the audience, or somewhere we can find you?
Yeah, you can find me at www.fabianaferrarini.com. And I have so much planned for this upcoming summer. I'm getting ready to relaunch my classes. My birthday's coming up. We're gonna have a Philly celebration, and I'm just really happy and excited to get out there and like mingle and educate and just like empower women and men and kids. How important it is to be healthy and fit. And of course, Instagram. Find me on Instagram, Fabiana_Ferrarini.
And I'll make sure to put links to all of those to your website and your Instagram. And people are not going to be able to see this, but Fabiana is currently wearing her Queen Warrior hoodie.
I know, and it wasn't even on purpose. I just love this sweater. It's so comfy.
And it looks really good. So
thank you.
That'll also be in the links, because I think people should check that out. Well, thank you very much, Fabiana.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a pleasure, and it was lots of fun.
Thank you so much, Fabiana, for sharing what makes you happy. Your story is very inspirational, and I enjoyed listening to what makes you happy. I also want to give a special thanks to Jason Zapolo for editing this episode, to Orly Margulies for helping with social media, and to Rocio Castañeda for your ongoing support. You can get show notes for this episode at thehappypodcast.com/episode 22. And if you want more information on the project, don't forget to go to thehappypodcast.com, where you will get past episodes, some blog posts, other resources, and of course a contact form if you want to submit feedback. Find us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Happy Podcast, and we're also on YouTube, youtube.com/thehappypodcast. If you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed past episode, please make sure to go to iTunes, subscribe, and leave a positive review so that other people can find this podcast too. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you come back next week.